All right, joined alongside Rush head coach and GM Scott Burt from Rochester, Minnesota. Bertie, it's been a month or so since we've seen you on the ice. Of course, we've seen you in the building at the Monument Ice Arena, but last couple of weeks you've been spending with your wife Audrey, and of course the doctors and medical team at the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota. Loaded question here to start, but just how are you doing overall?
I feel fine. I feel myself. Yeah, I've had, as of today, I've had 5 radiation treatments. I have 25 more to go. And I haven't started my chemo pill. That starts on Monday. But reassured through the doctors, it's as long as I got radiation going, that's the main thing. Um, but I've been really good. I've been feeling really good. I've had some real good meetings with doctors, um, and all positive. We're very optimistic. This is a tumor that is beatable. This is a tumor that we're going to go after, and this is a tumor that it's not going to stop me. That's for sure.
Yeah, I know a lot of fans are wondering since, you had the story with Andrew Lind a couple weeks ago and the Rapid City Journal just earlier today, but I know a lot of fans are wondering just the prognosis on everything and what you can share you know, with respect to how things are for your bill of health and, how the doctors are evaluating your brain tumor at this moment.
Yeah, well, I can tell you this. They are encouraging me to go to the gym, which I go to the gym every day. So I'm not there yet. Training like a player, which I want to be. But I have been working out when I was in the hospital there, I lost a lot of weight. I was eating a lot of popsicles. I probably ate the monument out of popsicles, which are my favorite. But I lost a lot of weight. I'm putting that weight back on, so I don't look like a prune raisin anymore. And I'm coming back to really who I am and packing on some muscle and a lot of protein and a lot of stuff that they're telling me to eat, the good stuff. So for me, it's about um, just being healthy and continue to have the positive vibes. The doctors have been unbelievable. The nurses have been unbelievable. I have a great group here. I have a great team and I have a great staff. And for me, it's waking up every day with a smile on my face. It's getting my push-ups in right away. It's getting my pills in. And it's either figuring out what we have, meetings, treatment, and figuring it out, right? Doing a lot of hockey stuff. I watch hockey every single night. That doesn't stop me. But understanding that it's okay to take a rest. My job has always been go, 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 go nonstop. And it's okay to take a 15-minute rest. And it's been encouraged, and I'm going to continue to do that because life is too short. I've been given a second chance, and I feel very good about it.
As someone who could use a few more calories and pounds on me, as you probably know, any advice for bulking? How are you going about it? What are you eating? What are you doing every day to put the weight back on?
Well, I eat. I make my eggs in the morning, or sorry, the night before. My soft boiled eggs. I have 3 soft boiled eggs, and I have my avocado, and I have my quiche in the morning, and I have a piece of toast, and then I have my protein shake. So there's a lot of protein shakes down in the dressing room. So I have 3 a
Sure.
day. And then I have my lunch, typically either before my treatment or after my treatment, and then I have a big dinner after that. So my treatment varies. Everything is catered towards young children with cancer that are fighting and going through stuff that I'm going through, but a lot younger than me. So my treatments vary. The other night I had one at 9:45 at night. Yesterday was at 7. Today was at noon. And then as we get going, next week is when it starts at 6:45 in the morning, which obviously I love because I get up. I have a tough time sleeping. My mind continues to race on how are things going on there. Listen to all the NHL coaches and their press conferences after games. Um, but for me, it's been a little bit of gratitude and understanding, everything about this, and this is my journey now. And I'm gonna take whoever wants to come on my journey. And obviously, if you're part of that Facebook Birdie's Battle deal that my wife does, she's been doing an unbelievable job of really throwing it out there on how every week goes for me, and it's been pretty awesome.
Yeah, could you have possibly expected, how many people who are on not just that page, but you mentioned part of your journey, how many people are invested in what's going on with you from here in Rapid City, Boise, Spokane, back in BC, everywhere, and just, how much support you've gotten over this past, 4 weeks or so?
Oh my God, Corey, you don't even know. It's the ECHL supports, the Rush, it's Spire, it's old players, it's NHL teams. It's been unbelievable. And it's the old adage that um, you know, I I guess I was well liked, to be honest, as a player and a person, and maybe I've touched a lot of lives along the way. But I've had so many people, so many old teammates, so many old coaches reach out every day. I get, Bertie, how you doing? How you feeling? Every single day. Um, it's unbelievable, and it's brought a lot of my past players out. And I tell them, and I tell everyone this. I said, wake up with a smile on your face. Tell the loved ones you love them. Tell your old teammates or players that you love them, because you never know what tomorrow brings. And for me, again, I'll always go back to this. This is my journey. This is a part of my journey, and I'm not the biggest religious person out there, but I do believe God has a plan for me, and this is the plan, and this is the road that I'm on. And if I can help someone else along the way, then that's big for me. Like, we're all big hockey, tough hockey players, and I've said this over and over. You know, if I didn't get pushed from Dr. Dietrich and I didn't get pushed from my wife to go get a CT scan, I don't know if I'm living right now. I don't know if I'm here, because I would have continued to do the same stuff that I was doing and just believe it was a migraine headache, continue to pop the migraine pills until I really found out that this was a tumor. And the scary part of this whole thing, and I don't even call it a tumor, I call it a gremlin. There's a gremlin that is growing in my brain, and it's messing with the wrong guy. And that gremlin is brain cancer. And that's a scary thing to talk about. But I am 100% hitting this thing dead on, and it's gonna come to a halt for sure when this is done.
Let's go back to the backstory that you touched upon. I don't think that many people know this, but you mentioned, getting checked out with Audrey and Dr. Dietrich getting on you about that. But what was the incident, the one in practice a couple of weeks before that, that led to the headaches increasing and ultimately your wife and Dr. D urging you to get checked out? What happened there to kind of spur things on?
Yeah, we were doing a drill in practice. It was a soft shit drill. I brought spray paint out there, and I spray painted from our goalie trapezoid out to the corner, and I wanted the players to place a puck into that area. And one of the players didn't place a puck. He actually rifled a puck, took a slap shot, and it was at my face. And I ducked down, and I took it off to the left side, where I ended up getting 7 stitches. I dropped, started leaking, got off the ice. Justin was right there. I'll never forget this. Connor Millimuck said, I guarantee Birdie comes out and finishes practice. But Justin wouldn't let me do that. I actually had to drive myself to the hospital to have Dr. D stitch me up. And it was a pretty deep cut, so I did have 7 stitches. But I did go out there and I yelled at the guys, and probably some profane words that meant to say, dump the puck and place a puck. Don't rifle a puck. In which that happened. And then, you know what, to be honest, I just really thought that's what it was. My migraines were because of that. I was waking up in the middle of the night. I was very forgetful, and you know that. I was forgetting where I put my pen, where I put my keys. I was forgetting stuff, Corey, that when I would come home, I would forget to put the garage door down and wake up in the morning and go, oh, ooh, I must have forgot that. And my wife always told me this, Bertie, you need a brain transplant, to be honest. And as a joke, because
Yeah.
I was so forgetful. But now I know exactly what it was. And if I didn't get hit in the head, I don't know where I'd have been, right? Because I was continuing to get those headaches and it was waking me up. And it was finally to the point that Audrey is like, talk to Dr. D, talk to Dr. D. We talked, we got a CT scan set up, and ultimately, there was a gremlin that was found. And now it's, and at the end of the day, I'm very thankful because if I didn't get hit, I don't know. And now the gremlin's going on the right side. This was on the left side, but it didn't matter. It really didn't matter because what happened is the tumor was growing quick, and it was putting so much pressure onto my brain, and that's what ultimately came down to me having emergency surgery in Rapid City.
Mm. I remember the day that the news came down and you addressed your team. It was a Tuesday morning. You addressed your team before they got on the ice, and us upstairs in our office. What was that period of time like where you didn't know what was going on aside from what the very early diagnosis was? You didn't know the full extent of everything, and you had to tell your hockey family that you're stepping away for who knows how long.
Yeah, it was tough. You never want to leave your group, that's for sure. And probably the hardest part was no one knew. Nobody really knew what was going on. Aside from, maybe my staff, Dreeks, a few people knew. But it was a tough day for me addressing the team. Um, and then it was a tough day addressing upstairs that I had to step away. You never want to step away. It's almost like you're leaving your team, but for me, it was about getting my health and taking care because I want to live a long life. I have an obligation to my family, my daughter and my wife, first and foremost. And that's the biggest thing for me. And really, I needed to figure out what I needed to do. And obviously, addressing everyone, making plans to go to the Mayo Clinic, and then having the connections that I have in Rapid City with the connections at the Mayo Clinic has been unbelievable. I have the dream team here, and I told you this. This is McDavid and Draisaitl, and they call themselves the dream team because they're the top two or three best doctors in their field in the world, that are working with me and want to work with me, which is crazy, and that have taken this upon themselves to do this. So, I'm very thankful, big time.
Yeah. How much has your family lifted you through this whole thing? You had your brother and your dad come down to help at practice earlier as well, and be with you at home over the holidays. How much has your family supported you and lifted you up in a time where you are leaving home, you're leaving your daughter for a long amount of time to go and fight this?
Yeah, well, you even go back a little bit on this. Once we found out, I had to tell them. Now my wife wasn't with me when I found out I had a tumor, or Dr. D came in. She was in Denver, at an audition for a commercial shoot. And Dr. D and I sat there, and when he brought his laptop in, it's usually not a good sign. Kind of told me all about that. And I had to call her, and she's like, you're just kidding, whatever. That's just who you are, Bertie. And I said, no, you need to talk to Dr. D. And it was like, oh, moment, right? Like
Mhm.
this is it. So she came back the next day. And then I had to call my parents. I had to tell them, hey, listen, I have I have something that you need to be sitting down when I tell you this, and this is what it is. And I've been diagnosed with a brain tumor. It's cancerous. At the time, we didn't know it was cancerous, but brain tumors are cancerous, and that's what it is. Um, So that really freaked them out. You know, with the Rush Inspire, they said, get your family down there right away. And they came down. My parents came down, obviously, because we needed to get to Mayo Clinic. They were going to watch over Sophie, which they did. And then my brother flew in from Edmonton. The best thing with that is, I wouldn't even say the best thing, Corey. I was having some bad symptoms. Audrey rushed me to the emergency room. I had a seizure in the emergency room. They were going to fly me to the Mayo Clinic. My brother and my parents were on their way in. My brother was going to fly from Denver to Minnesota to meet us. Those plans changed when Audrey, a little emotional, but Audrey had to call him and tell him that I was going in emergency surgery. They couldn't get me in time to the Mayo Clinic. And, you know, you would never think in Rapid City that you would have emergency brain surgery. And Dr. Fulbright was unbelievable, who did it. Didn't get obviously all of the tumor out, but got a lot of the pressure off my brain to keep me alive. And then Dr. Peter Wright and his connections, you know, were the oncologists, the main guys that really worked with us. So it was a Friday night, and this is what's crazy. And I don't know if I've told you this. It was a Friday night. You guys were in South Carolina. I went under. Audrey had to call Todd and didn't know what to do. Emergency room, she was slapping me. They had to do the emergency surgery right away, not knowing the outcome of it all. Saturday, I came through. I think it was a 6, 7, 8 hour surgery, whatever it was, where they had to open up the brain and whatever. Pulled the breathing tube and all that out on the Saturday. I tried to talk. I couldn't talk. My dad was in the room with Audrey. They gave me a pen. I still have that piece of paper. It's at home. Took a picture of it. I'll get a tattoo on my body. But what it says is my team. I wrote my team down because I want to know how my team did the night before. And then in staggered writing, it says I am safe, which is pretty crazy. And I stayed in the hospital. Thankfully, they all there, and they were in Denver when this all came down. My brother, they had to flip flights, and they got there. And then obviously your brother, your loved one, your son, is having brain surgery, which is pretty crazy. But the next day came through, and then everything kind of went from there. I just, you know, ate a lot of popsicles for those nights and got better and got healthier. And then the Monday came around. I said, I can't do this anymore. I need to go for a walk. Let's try it. I took 8 steps, got a little dizzy, sat back down. Later that afternoon, I went for a walk for 8 minutes and said, I got to keep going. Next day, I met with the oncologist, Dr. Peter Wright, and he kind of told me it could go either way. I don't know where it is. I'm going to send this off to the Mayo. I want my buddy Paul Brown to look at this, and we'll go from there. He ended up taking on this case. Came back in the afternoon. That's where I became at peace with myself. And I went for a walk with the nurse, and all of a sudden I'm doing squats. I'm walking backwards. I'm doing karaoke's sideways, and they're looking at me going, what are you doing? I said, I don't want to be here, and this is not who I am. I will fight this. Later that day, I was discharged. And then obviously, you know, the next day, no one knew. I was down at the rink with bagels and cream cheese for the players as they were doing their dynamic workout going, what is this guy doing here? He just had surgery 4 days ago. But my brother was unbelievable. He runs a hockey program in Edmonton. And, you know, the coaching staff was unreal that, you know, he was able to go on the ice and I could sit up there with my dad and watch practice. And it felt amazing, to be honest. So they've been by my side nonstop. My parents are obviously they're back home now. My brother's back home. And then, good support staff with Sophie starting school today. and she's got club volleyball, so it's going to be tough. But we'll get her down here so she can spend a weekend with us.
You said you were at peace with yourself a few days after you had the surgery in early December. What do you mean by at peace with yourself? What was the shift mentally that made you say that?
Well, I didn't know where this was going, Corey. Obviously we know it's an oleoglioblastoma. Glastoma. I think that's what the prognosis of this tumor is, and it's not the uh, glastoma, which is the one that you don't want. I have the
Mhm.
best prognosis cancer tumor that is for the best outcome. That's going to give me a lot of life left and life expectancy, and a good fight and a good battle. Now, as much as I say this, it's still a fight. I have a big, long fight ahead of me, but optimistic with the doctors. But I came at peace with myself, Corey, that I didn't know where this was going. Um, and if I didn't come at peace with myself, I don't know. I would just be complaining and go, why me? Why me? But you know, again, I'll go back to I'm not the biggest religious person out there, but I know God has a plan for me um, and a journey. And this is my journey. If I can help along the way, if I can be an inspiration to other coaches, to other players, to other people out there that understand that, hey, listen, we can fight. Cancer sucks because you don't know. It could be you, but for me, I'm not going to stop fighting, and that's where I came at peace. If it was the latter of uh, the cancer that I have, I'd still be fighting, and I would try and prove people wrong, to live a better life, to be there for my family and for my team.
Okay, my team. I'll tell you about the photo of you writing down my team. It was a Saturday in South Carolina, 2, 3 in the afternoon, and Jared Reed calls me saying, "I'm going to send you this photo. I need you to print a whole bunch of copies of it and show the boys, bring it downstairs." And it was that photo from your FaceTime or whatever it was with Todd
Yeah,
of that
yeah.
my team and I am safe. You still have that paper and pen with you?
I don't know where the pen is. The paper should be around, and I definitely took a picture of that. I know that for a fact. But yeah, it's meaningful, that's for sure. Very
Yeah.
meaningful, and then it's a little bit staggered. You can't really tell, but it was clear cut from my dad and from Audrey what it said and what it meant.
Yeah. Do you know where you're gonna get that tattoo on yet?
Well, I do have an idea of something that will be put on me with strength, determination, um, and obviously my journey um, before I leave here
Mhm.
to come back. But there will be. I've actually had a young fella in Boise, Idaho, that also went through cancer. That I've been talking to throughout this process. His name is Jackson Howell. Plays for BSU club hockey team. Good opportunity. Good, really good friend. Really good family. And he's already asked me if I would get a cancer tattoo with him because
Mhm.
he's in remission. He just got good results the other day that he's cancer free. So he has asked me to if I would get a cancer tattoo with him. So I will get the ribbon with him. But I will also have this placed on my body somewhere. My team and I am safe.
That was the only thing that you could make out of that whole paper, and it's only fitting, right? That you're entirely in hockey mode still, even in the most vulnerable part of your entire life. And that's if if there were ever a thing to put Birdie into a capsule, it'd be that. Always thinking of hockey and the team. Speaking of BSU, I'm sure you saw they joined the movement to put Birdie stickers on their helmets a couple days ago. I was at a Rushmore Thunder Mites practice the other day when Brett Davids and Matt Radomski presented the pucks that Davey got for winning Player of the Week about a month or so ago in Boise, no less. And all the mites on their own helmets, even the ones they're, off colors, the parents bought them, it's not provided. And they were handing out birdie stickers, and almost all the mites had them on their helmets. Obviously, the Rush have them on all their helmets. Utah, Idaho, Wheeling, all the teams he played for, and Wichita, even beyond that. Uh, when you first saw that movement of everyone getting birdie stickers in the league, sending all the teams birdie stickers, and that's only evolved now into Boise State and Rushmore Thunder and all the other teams that have done it, the Badlands Sabres. What has that meant to you?
Again, obviously, I've touched somewhere down the line. My life is hockey, and it is. I was actually talking to Daryl Hay via text yesterday, and he's the head coach at BSU. And I said, I appreciate it. I saw that. He said, Bertie, last time we were there in Boise, I went down and I spoke to their team before a game. And he said, Bertie, you're a part of our community. You're a part of our team. You've touched our team. Um, if I can do that, to one person and they can take that and run with it, it's been unbelievable. I don't know if you've seen those other stickers that have been out, the Birdie face stickers.
Yes.
There's a big face sticker now that has been out too by that's put out there, which is pretty crazy. And those they're like selling it like hotcakes. It's crazy.
Really?
But I have one on my little Stanley mug. It's pretty crazy. But you know what, Corey? The hockey community is big yet small, and when one of their own um, go down with something like this, people step up. If it wasn't me, it was someone else, I'd be right with them along the way, sending text messages and being a part of the run and the journey with whoever. Unfortunately it's me, but the outpouring and the people reaching out, and that just means so much, and it just puts a smile on my face, um, with everything. And like I said, one day I'm gonna I know for a fact I'll be coaching the NHL, um, and I will look back upon this, but this is my journey, and I'm very thankful to be here, for this.
Speaking of NHL coaching, you told me before we started this just how many NHL coaches have reached out to you, coaches that you've talked to in the past, and in the case of Knobloch, for example, you played with in junior. Coaches who and have reached out to you and offered, hey, when we're in Minnesota, we'll take you out to a game and have you be our guest. How much networking, how many coaches have reached out to you, and what's that response been like when, they have so many things going on being a National Hockey League coach, and yet they still take the time to make that gesture and reach out to you?
Quite a bit. It's been unbelievable. Just the other day, Davis Payne is an assistant coach with the Winnipeg Jets, coached up in Alaska. Never coached me, ran into each other. Last year when we were playing in Greenville, he was let go by the Ottawa Senators. Middle of a game, text me, got it on my phone, came down after the game, and he said, Bertie, you just keep fighting. Brad Larson, Jamie Compton, Huska, Calgary's coach, Knobber. It's just a lot of coaches, Tucson's coaches, Trent. It's just I've had so many guys reach out, um, wanting to be a part of my fight with me, and continuing to let me know that they're in my corner, and if I ever need anything, and I flip it around and I say, guys, I have time. If you guys ever need anything, do you want me to do some scouting stuff? Do you want me to help out? I could watch a video. I could do anything. Like, I will help you guys out as well. But that's the hockey community. It's been fantastic. It really has been.
I always felt bad asking you to do things back when you were in Rapid, but it's good to know you got time on your hands now.
Yeah, no, I'm I'm wide open, man. I got my gym, I got my routine, I got my treatments, I got my meetings, but I have a lot of time. Matter of fact, I will go back and Calgary plays tonight, so I'll be watching them again.
Yeah. So what is your schedule then? What's the average schedule? Do you still wake up at 5 in the morning? I'm sure you do.
I do because I can't sleep. I sleep about 2, 3 hours a night. I'm trying to get through a full night. I haven't had a full night's sleep yet. But typically I usually wake up and I try not to put my phone on. But I tend to start reading the news or looking up some hockey stuff. But my goal is to get a good night's sleep, which I haven't. And then I wake up and I make my breakfast. And then I get ready for the day. I take my couple 3 pills there in the morning, and then plan out going to the gym for a couple hours, and then either treatments, meetings, blood work, MRIs, that kind of stuff throughout the day. But that's kind of tapering off and slowing down a little bit. Tomorrow, for instance, I have my treatments at noon tomorrow. I have a blood test right after. I have a consultation with a nurse. I meet with a social worker, and then I take off to Minnesota, where we're gonna watch the Avs play tomorrow night.
This is a big one I want to get to, and we talked a lot about this before I hit record here. Um, when you came back from the surgery, we had Wichita at home for a 3-3, and you mentioned how you came back and had your bagels, and your head was half shaved with the stitches up in the back, and looking like that, and all the players were saying, "What the heck's going on? Why is he here?" And I think I they speak for all of us when they said that. Um, but I came in downstairs. It was that Thursday game, and you go up to me, you shake my hand like I'm meeting you for the first time, and you comment on how nice my suit jacket looked that morning, which I mean was the most positive chipper I've ever seen or heard you in the 6 months or so I had known you at that point. Um, and yet that's been the way you've been since then. Um, your outlook on life has been totally different, as we were talking about. How has the outlook on life changed since, as you said, I mean, you had a life or death experience that totally changed up how you view the world now?
Yeah, well, Michael Franti has a song. It's a good day for a good day, so make it a good day, right? Um, and just even going back with that, obviously that Facebook journey deal with my wife has, Bruce Ramsey, the coach of Wichita, knew I was just going to show up. He goes, "I just had a feeling you were coming down," and I went and saw him and gave him a big hug and whatnot. He's like, "Holy, you just look amazing." Mind you, I was a prune vegetable at that time. But my look on life now is to live life to the fullest, right? Um, and yes, I'm still, there's still going to be days that, you know, bitter birdie. But, you know, I look at it as I have a second chance in life. And, the more positive you are, the more energy you're going to give off. And the more energy and the positive energy you give off, it's very contagious. And you looked very dapper that day. Just like my neurosurgeon looked very dapper yesterday. To the point that I was asking about his suit, and I'm like, wow, you look very, very nice. And we started talking about his shoes and his socks and his tie and him folding. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But that's what they said. Every single person that I've reached out to or have reached out to me and talked to, even the doctors, can't believe my attitude and the positive the growth that they see out of this, and they all just know that, smile on my face every day, um is only going to take this to another level. And for me, it's not about, yes, I'm going to grind the players still because that's just what we do, right? But it's understanding what makes them tick, right? And what makes their motor run. And that's a big deal for me to learn the players and continue to learn the players that, because it's not all about yelling and getting mad. It's about teaching. It's about developing, not only as a player, but as a person. And, if I can help someone be positive in a negative way, if that makes sense, you know, and twist it around, then hey, listen, that might be a lot better than just going in and barking at someone.
Do you want to share the secret that your neurosurgeon told you about packing suits in his briefcase? We got a bunch of flights coming up.
Yeah, he showed me. He actually took his suit jacket off and he folded his suit jacket and he folded it up once and then he folded his his sleeves over and then he folded it once over top and then he laid it down. And when you pull it out of your day bag, it's not wrinkled.
That's what you came to the Mayo Clinic for, right? Not everything else. You came for that.
Oh man, Dr. Oom has been unbelievable. And it's just a crazy connection with everything. It's been very special, that's for sure.
Yeah. You also mentioned you've been preparing for these 6-7 weeks to be over, at least this stage of everything, and getting back to Rapid City where you're gonna return to coaching this team more intimately. What have you done to prepare yourself on the mental side with this new attitude, with how you're gonna get ready to stay in hockey shape and the hockey mind when you finally get back?
Yeah, well, I've been talking with I have a mental coach in Eric Hofberg. He works with NHL coaches. He works with he's a mental coach, a big high speaker. Talks to big corporations. Has worked with again a lot of coaches. He was a coach himself at Bowling Green. He's worked with Barry Trotz and NHL coaches. We talked today. I brought him on board a couple years ago. He sends me a lot of stuff, a lot of motivational stuff that I share with my players. That he sends me. He's like, hey, for some reason, he always just knows if it's in watching a game or just checking the score, but he just somehow understands me. And we talked today, and he wants to continue with this and be a part of this twice a week or whenever. But he wants to help me prepare myself and me to be ready for when I have that opportunity to get back, and wants me to be ready for my group. And that's a big deal because I'm going to be coming into something that's new for me. I'm going to have two coaches. I'm going to have an associate coach and an assistant coach. And I wouldn't even consider Peter an assistant coach. I'm going to have two associate coaches because they've been doing a fantastic job of keeping the group going, right? They're the pulse of the team right now. I talk to those guys, every day or every other day. But I have to stay out of that. I can't be involved because I'm not there. It's their team. But when I do come back, I will have an opportunity to work with them. And it's not my team, it's our team. And I'm very excited to continue to work with those guys. Obviously, Kotzi and I have talked. We've never worked together, but we've always had the mutual respect for each other. He sent me a beautiful text the other day saying, he's very ecstatic and he loves the coach. And this has given him another look on life and a look on the coaching side of things. And he's very thankful for this opportunity. And it's only going to make him a better coach. It's going to make me a better coach. It's going to make Peter a better coach. And that's the biggest thing for me coming back in a few weeks.
Yeah, I know Costi mentioned on our coaches show just yesterday, he got to get out of a job back in Texas. He didn't like all that much compared to coaching, right? And this is the opportunity where it's a silver lining. Obviously, he doesn't come here for the most ideal reason, but he came here to support you, and you going to the Mayo Clinic allowed him to get this opportunity as well. So it seems as though it's going to be a three-headed monster when you come back. How does this change your approach to coaching when, in the past, and you might still be this way, you've been very hands-on. I got to do this, got to do that, everything else. You told me how many times it was stressing you out, the routine every day, and the tough love that we had early on this season. How does this change your approach to coaching and how you're going to delegate things as you come back?
Well, that's the biggest thing, Corey, is delegating, right? I have an opportunity now to work with two good coaches, two great coaches, um, and let them do their job. I'll oversee a lot of stuff. I'll have my say in a lot of the stuff, um, but let them do their job, right? If anyone knows me, it's a lot of hands-on stuff, my way or the highway, but that's not what it is. It's not what it is in the NHL. It's not what it is in the American Hockey League. Um, they're great coaches and they're in pro hockey for a reason. And for me, it's continuing to learn that side of things, right? For me, I want to move up as well. This is only going to give me an opportunity to expand and allow my coaching and my staff do their job. Bill Belichick always says, do your job. Well, you know what? They have a job. I'm going to have a job too. I'll oversee a lot of this stuff. But I'm not going to not do my job. And I'll still do a lot of it, but give them the opportunity to do their job and grow as coaches. And this is only going to help me. It's going to help Peter and it's going to help Chad grow as coaches and build this as our group.
You're not a football guy. How do you know Bill Belichick?
Reading books, bud.
Have you read any books since you've been there?
I do. We just picked up one the other day called The Outliner. It's a true story. I haven't started it because I had a lot of stuff I had to do about the reading on the chemo and the pill stuff, but I picked one up at Savers the other day.
Nice. What's been the most surprising or a couple most surprising things you've found out since the first week of December?
Well, I have brain cancer.
That's pretty surprising.
That's big. I would never have thought it would be me. But that's what it is. And I have to live with that. What else am I surprised? I'm surprised there's no snow here. It's
Is there
freezing
really?
cold here. Zero snow, freezing cold here. But the people that have been around have been fantastic. The nurses here, like they're telling me that, I brought my a stick, my gloves, my skates, my tracksuit, and there's no restrictions. I've had people ask me to go outdoor rink and skate with them. Hey, do you want to come out with our group? And this is from the nurses and the doctors said yes, he's allowed to do that. So we're planning a time that I could go out with a few high school kids here. And that's encouraged. They want me to do that. And I'm excited about that. But in all reality, and the truth is, what really did hurt, the biggest thing is that I did find out that I do have brain cancer. But with the good group and team that I have, that we're going to fight this, and we're gonna shrink this, and I'm going to be healthy and in a few weeks.
Last thing, you have stressed again and again, you want to pass on the message of getting checked out, even if, from one guy to another, I feel like men just are against getting themselves checked out just because it's a strength thing, right? But emphasizing the importance of getting yourself checked out. There's no shame in admitting that there might be something wrong with you, and ultimately, in your case, it may very well have saved your life. It certainly changed it in a massive way. What do you say to people who might have something wrong with them and are maybe putting off getting checked out?
Well, first and foremost, I'm still waiting to get over the high school, because you're seeing it nowadays. high school football, high school sports, there's a lot of things that go on. There's a lot of mental, um, um, a lot of mental stuff that goes on within kids, and that's a big deal. Through football, through hockey, it's a contact sport. A lot of people and players and kids have headaches, and they just pass it on. I pass it on. I pass it on many of times. I'm sure I got smoked a few times and just let it go and pass it. But mental health is huge. And if there's any way that I can get out to just to talk to people, again, I'll always go back. This is my journey. This is my path. This is what's been paved for me. And if I can touch someone down the line, to either go get checked out or just listen to my story, and if I can help someone, and if it relates to someone a positive way, then that's what I want to do. And I'm not going to stop. And I've reached out to the league, and I've reached out um, to other people that, hey, listen, if anybody wants me to talk about my journey or mental health or not being afraid to talk to someone, I'm wide open, 100%.
Okay, I lied. Here's the last one. I'll end on something more positive. How's the team looking right now?
Well, I like their last game. Obviously, we have a big series. I watched Tahoe play Maine their last two games, live, well, not live, but on Flow. They're a good team. I have, well, with Nelly, I have two other players that are on that team with Bear Hughes and Jake McGrew that also played for me in Spokane. So I wish I could be back there. And they have reached out. But I know Nelly's going to be coming in flying. We just have to continue to um, get better every single day. And get points, right? I talk about winning the week. This is a huge week for us, and we gotta be prepared for Friday night to win the week.
All right, Birdie, I can't tell you how much I appreciate it, the time. I know the fans will appreciate hearing this from you. Best of luck, and I know we'll be seeing you back in Rapid City very soon.
Absolutely, buddy. I appreciate it.